So first thing we're going to do, we're going to press A and X to delete every single thing in our scene. Then we're going to do Shift A, and you probably guessed it, we're going to add a UV sphere, and that is going to be our planet over here. So we're going to be making Jupiter, and what we're going to do over here, make sure the segments over here is 64, and rings is 32. Then we're going to add over here a subdivision surface modifier of generate a subdivision surface modifier of about 2, so we can make it super smooth. Then shade it smooth. Once we have done that, we're now going to scale this up S and then press 150. So we're going to scale it up super big because we want it to be at this type of scale, because planets are super big. Now we can't make it to actual scale because the planet is massive and it's going to break Blender, so we're going to keep it like this. Once we have done that, we're going to add in our camera, so Shift A and add a camera, which is right over here. Once we have done that, we are going to quickly go over here, press N, and over here in our camera properties, we want our camera in the location. We are going to move it across, so to about, as you can see, our camera is right there. So I'm going to estimate about 400 on the X. Then we can go in camera view, so press numpad 0. Then we're going to have to reset the rotation to 0, 0. Everything is going to be a 0, so as you can see, it's facing downwards currently. So then on over here on the x-axis, it has to be 90 degrees. And on the Z, it has to be 90 as well. So it's going to be facing towards the planet. Now we are in front view. We're now going to quickly press Shift and then tilde key. And then we're going to press, and we're going to quickly move up. So pressing the R button, something like this. So this is going to be our little cinematic shot that we're going to be making. It's going to be a camera view, like something about this. You can make it to any size. You can scale this down if you want to, just a little bit if you want to scale it down, and that's going to be something looking like this, and that should be good. Now we're going to be adding the materials to our planet. So first things first, we're going to head on to our shading viewport mode over there, and we're going to change this. Select this little button over here and change it to the shader editor. Shortcut key is Shift F3. Once we have done that, we're going to create a new material, and let's really drag this up. Once we have done that, we're going to zoom in. As you can see, we have our principal BSDF. First things first, I'm going to rename this to our planet texture. So let's just say planet. Then I'm going to quickly, I have a texture, and I'm going to leave the link in the description where you can get your texture to download it. And I'm going to use that texture, and then you just quickly import it over here. So you do Shift A, and then you can just search image texture, like that. And then you can quickly move it here, and then you can connect this to color, to the base color over here. And it's going to go black because we don't have a texture selected right now. And then we're going to go over here to open, and you're going to quickly select your file. So once you have selected it, you're going to see that we have added a texture to our planet. So this is currently what it looks like. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go into our camera view, and we're going to press the tab button, go into edit mode. And then what we're going to do, we're going to press U to unwrap it. And I'm going to select project from view. So it's going to change its texture from where we're looking it from. So this is currently what it looks like. It might mess it up, or you can. I'm going to do it to something like this because that's where our camera is. But what I'm going to do actually is go into the front orthographic view, and then go to tab, and then U to project from view. Then it's going to be very more accurate. So as you can see, this is what our planet currently looks like. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just rotate. I'm going to quickly scale this down just a tiny little bit. Grab it up and rotate it because I want it to be a bit like this. Okay, I want it to be something like this. And that should be good enough. And maybe scale this up just a little bit. Something looking like this. Now, right now, it might not look very good. It might not look very cinematic because we are currently in our material view, not our rendered viewport mode. Then, once we have done that, back into our camera view, we're going to go into our rendered mode and render viewport shading mode. And then, as you can see, it's going to be very dark. First things first, we're going to go ahead on over here to our world settings, and we're gonna add in HDRI. So over here, we're gonna quickly change this to the world settings, and over here in background, we're gonna do Shift A and add in a environment texture. And then once you have done that, you're gonna quickly open the texture that you have downloaded from my description, the HDRI texture. So this is what it looks like when we added our texture for the world settings to the HDRI. As you can see, it got so dark we can't even see the outline for our camera. As you can see, the camera is still there, and this is our lovely space HDRI. And remember, the link is in the description. So now we're gonna light up our scene, but before we do that, it's kind of annoying because we can see everything else that is not in our camera view. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select our camera, and in camera properties, we're gonna go over here to past part out and change that to 1. So then everything that is not in our camera view will go black. Or you can just go just mess around with it to see how dark you want it. So I'm gonna leave it at 1. Once we have done that, we're gonna do Shift A and we're gonna add in a sunlight so we can light up our planet so we can actually see it. Then we're gonna press G, Z, and move it up. And then we can move, you can select this little yellow dot, so then you can mess around with the direction, so how you want it to be positioned. And as you can see, I'm gonna quickly mess around, and I feel like it should be like something looking like this, and that should be perfect. Maybe scale this up just a little bit to get the more cinematic look. And you can also like animate the light, so you can add keyframes to make it a slow exposure to the light, and it might look super cool. And this is what it's going to look like, and it's super cool. And then to render settings, it's going to be rendered in cycles, and it's going to look even better with the lighting and the ray tracing. And then you can change the time limit if you want to, and everything should be good. Once you have done that, we're going to click render, and then you have your little planet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video.